my name is Ilans Personal. I am the CEO and one of the founders at Autochartist. So happy to talk to you now. I'm actually just back from a trip from Jakarta, Indonesia, where I was giving a talk there. It was an amazing experience. So I'm a little jet lagged, a little fuzzy around the edges. I just got back a day ago, but I hope I'll make some sense during today's webinar. No, we're going to have some fun. Today's a very, very cool topic. It's talking about the performance statistics of Autochartist and how to use them to make your trades more effective with Autochartist. This session will be recorded, and you'll all be sent the recording link. I'm guessing by tomorrow. It'll probably be on our YouTube channel as well. So there are quite a few people on this webinar, so I probably won't be able to handle all the questions that are streaming through. I'll try and handle as many as I can, but that's why Errol is supporting me on this webinar, so that if there's any technical questions not really trading related, then he can help me handle some of those while I'm doing a presentation, because it's difficult for me to concentrate on both. Okay, so now I've spoken enough about all the housekeeping stuff. Let's get down to it. So if any of you have used Autochartist before, you'll notice that if you're on the trading opportunities section of the Autochartist web application, you will actually notice that there are really a huge amount of trading opportunities that are listed on the bottom. Okay, so one of the key problems with any trading strategy is placing too many trades, and how do you actually filter down to the trades that you really want to take? Okay, there's a number of different ways that one could go about it. One could obviously go about filtering based on the types of opportunities that you want to, by the patterns. For example, you want to look at ascending triangles, channels, Fibonacci patterns, etc. Right? So that's what many people do. Many people filter it down by the time intervals. Right? They only want to look at the time intervals greater than 1 hour or less than 1 hour, depending on your trading style. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. So today, however, I'm going to talk about a different type of way of doing it, and that's actually looking at the past performance statistics. The first thing I need to do before we talk about actually looking at some of the stats, I need to explain to you firstly how we analyze the performance and what we actually mean by performance statistics. So I've got an example on my screen right now, which is a USD JPY example. I'm hoping you can all see that. And there's been a breakout to a support level, right? And Autochartist projects a movement down to 108.80 for the USD Japanese yen. Okay, now when Autochartist provides a target target region to which we think the price is going to go, we actually keep track of whether that price actually hit that forecast region or not. Okay, this means Autochartist kind of keeps it in the background and monitors the candles that happen subsequent to the pattern, right, subsequent to this breakout, and then gives ourselves a tick mark. Yes, a check mark saying yes, it hit the price level if it goes through that level, or a cross if it doesn't go through that level, right? So it's a simple measure of whether the price hit the target level or not. Okay, so this is one example. Another example recently just came up on, here we go, another example on a falling wedge on Euro JPY. We would give ourselves a mark if it went up to 123.43. Within a certain period of time, or if it moved away from 123.43, if it didn't go there, we would obviously give ourselves a bad mark for that. So the performance statistics are really a measure of how often we hit our target region. It is not a measure of of how much money you would have made. The reason why, you're probably wondering, well, why don't you just tell us how much money you would have made using Autochartist? Well, there's a very important reason we don't do that. It's because every one of you, I'm sure, trade with a different stop loss and take profit strategy, right? Some of you take profit very early on before it hits the target region. Some of you use a fixed stop loss. Some of you use a trailing stop loss, which sometimes ends up being a take profit level as well. Some of you use a moving average as a stop loss take profit. People use different types of strategies for their exits. Now, what our challenge at Autochartist was to figure out a way of measuring the quality of our forecasts that is independent of the stop loss strategy. So this is why we chose to simply measure whether a price hit the target region or not. So as you notice over here, for these completed patterns are the ones that have gone through their support or resistance level. They are these chart patterns over here that are completed. They are these green arrows, green and red arrows. All right, solid green, solid red arrows. Okay, those are the ones for which we provide a forecast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually untick in my filters the emerging chart patterns, because we do not provide forecasts for the emerging chart patterns, because the emerging chart patterns, I'm not going to go into it right now, but they have a moving target. So we can't reliably measure whether we hit our target region or not. The second thing that we don't do is we don't measure performance for Fibonacci patterns. Okay, that's because there are too many lines in Fibonacci patterns, and our performance is almost 100% if we measure our performance on Fibonacci patterns, because like my theory goes, if you draw enough lines on a chart, you're bound to hit something, right? So we don't measure performance on Fibonacci patterns. So I'm going to actually untick Fibonacci patterns in my filters. Then the last thing that remains is the key levels, and obviously for the key levels, we do actually measure the performance because we always provide a forecast for the key levels. Okay, so key levels being the horizontal support resistance. So we provide them both on breakout and approaching patterns. Excuse me. So that's an example of an approaching pattern where the GBP euro is heading towards a target level of 125.38, and it rebounded a bit and then actually hit the target region. Here's an example of a breakout on GBP AUD where the price broke through about 4 hours ago. We provided a forecast down to 183.21. Looks like the price is heading in that direction right now. Okay, we provided a forecast there. These three types of patterns, let me highlight them for you again. The completed chart patterns, breakout key levels, and approaching key levels, we provide a target region. Okay, and so for those patterns, we can actually measure the quality of our forecasts. So now let's look at the actual performance statistics. If we click on the performance statistics section, you can actually see that we provide those statistics, again, as I mentioned before, for completed chart patterns, breakout key levels, and approaching key levels. Okay, for each of the markets that your broker provides, right? So obviously, if you get Autochartist for free from your broker, you would have the markets that broker covers. Right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on some of the Forex results. So if I look at the chart pattern results on Forex, we keep a 6-month rolling window, right, of patterns of results. So you can see this was done 2 weeks ago. It was recalculated We recalculate them every 2 weeks or so. And in the last 6 months, we identified about 21,000 patterns, and just under 14,000 hit their target region. That's about 66% accuracy. But actually, 66% is not the percentage I actually want to focus on in this presentation. What I really want to do is I want to highlight some of the patterns that have been doing really, really well in the past, okay, in the past 6 months. So let's look at some of those. Let me get my pen. Head and shoulders and inverse head and shoulders are always really, really good star performers for us at Autochartist, over 80%. Interestingly enough, we have a 100% hit rate for a triple top. But notice something very important. We only identified one triple top in the last few months. Okay, so this is not a reliable statistic. The reason why it's not reliable is because we could identify one more and it could be wrong, and then the result goes down to 50%. Okay, so this 100% result on triple top is something I would definitely not look at all, not pay any attention to at all. The kind of thing I would pay attention to is channel apps. We've been doing really well, and there's been over 1,500 of these that we've identified, right? So some of the interesting ones that you can see over here, we've got percentages, some of the things you can look at, okay? The other thing I want to show you is some of the actual instruments that we've been doing well at. So if you see the instrument list on the right-hand side, GBP AUD we're doing really well at, Euro CAD, USD NOK, that's an exotic, Euro USD, well now that's interesting, 70% accuracy for the last 6 months. NZD USD 70%. So some pretty major pairs over here. AUD USD over 70%. USD Swiss franc 72%. Okay, so there's been some interesting stats over the last few months. One of the most interesting pieces of information that you'll find in the statistics is actually the hour of the day, right, when you trade. If you think about what Autochartist actually is, Autochartist is a really automation of support and resistance level identification. And what is support and resistance, right? Support and resistance is merely the identification of psychological levels in the market, right? And what you need to get psychological levels in the market, what you need is lots of participants in the market. So if you actually look at the hour of the day in which we make our best forecasts, it's actually, this is in Eastern time, these statistics, you'll actually see we make our best forecasts during the London hours, actually. Okay, so during the London hours we do really, really well. And why is that? We do well during the European session because that is when there's the most participants in the FX market, and so you get the most kind of the best indication of the market psychology that's going on during that time of day. So let's go. I mean, you can have a look at obviously these key level statistics as well, but what I really want to focus on is how, with a few simple steps, we've reduced the number of instruments that were of potential trading opportunities that we're looking at, right? We started off with, it says 20, that's 43, 45, 55, 58, 62 opportunities, and we filtered it down to 24 opportunities, okay, just by looking at the completed chart patterns and breakout and approaching key levels. But now what we want to do is we want to filter it down even more. Okay, what we want to do is we want to actually look at combining the performance statistics together with our trading opportunities. Okay, and you can do that in two ways. You can either go to the performance statistics pages, print them out on a piece of paper next to you and have them on your desk, or if your broker offers you the premium Autochartist service with the Our Favorites section, the job is much easier for you. You just click on Our Favorites, and on the top of the Our Favorites you can actually see, you can set the minimum probability. of the opportunities you want to see. So if I want to look at opportunities which have a 65% or greater probability of hitting their target region, all I do is I set that minimum probability to 65, and here Autochartist automatically combines the trading opportunities together with the performance statistics and limits the number of opportunities down to 21. If we want to see even less than that, okay, so we now on 10 trading opportunities, we set the minimum probability to 70. Now we have the 10 most probable events that are available in the market right now for us. Okay, so again, a very important disclaimer that I need to point out is that obviously the performance, this our favorite section, is based on past performance of the last 6 months, right? So of course markets change, and you know these performance stats don't guarantee that you'll get the same performance stats going forward. Okay, so that's a bit of a disclaimer, but certainly if you're looking at making an intelligent guess, and that's really what we're trying to do, these are the best opportunities. Now this is still 10 opportunities, right, that are available in the market for you right now. How do we reduce that even further? So personally, again, this is my personal preference. I don't trade really the exotic pairs. So I would discount like this Mexican peso and NOK opportunity. I would definitely look at this AUD USD opportunity, AUD Swiss franc, Euro AUD, that's 3. The TRY, right, the Turkish lira, I wouldn't look at. Singapore dollar I wouldn't look at. Euro New Zealand I would, and this is interesting because this is actually an end of day pattern, which I'll talk about in just a moment. CAD JPY, Euro AUD. So here we have quite a lot of interesting opportunities. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 opportunities. So from about 60 opportunities, we're down to about 6 opportunities. All right. Now, if you think about that, right? I mean, that is an immensely powerful thing. There are so many, lots of indicators and different things that are going on in the market, and what we've done is we've really filtered it down to the pure essence of what's actually happening in the market right now. Now, let's look at some of these opportunities in detail. Here's this opportunity on AUD USD. And Autochartist has done a pretty good job here of identifying this resistance level at 0.7723. Okay, and it thinks that the price might go up to that level, right? It's currently at 0.77, around 0.77, which is a round number. Now, you know, one could argue, like one could think, well, should I take this position, this long position, up to 0.7723? Well, let me tell you the way I look at it, right? Yes, Autochartist has done a good job of identifying this level, okay? But notice that the price keeps bouncing off the current level, right, at 0.77, which is a round number. So I might look at this and say, you know, this is potentially an opportunity that I wouldn't trade right now. I might actually want to wait a few more hours to see if the price continues to move up or actually has a breakout through this level in order to trade long, or I might wait for a pullback down to 0.7690 or so and then actually trade short, because that indicates to me that it's actually bounced off the 0.7695 level again, which it's done in the past numerous times. Okay, so Autochartist drew this line at 0.7723 because it's noticed that that's where the highs have been before, right? But use your common sense and see, well, you know, the drawing might not be exactly perfect. You might want to draw the prices through the closes or the openings. So this is potentially an opportunity which I might miss on right now, but keep a close eye on it. Let's look at this Euro NZD opportunity over here, right? A Euro New Zealand dollar. This certainly is very interesting for me. Firstly, because it's an end of day pattern, which holds the most significance, because, right, there's a lot of market psychology. There's a lot of candles. So it's hit this price level over here, breakout, and again consolidation at this price level, breakout through the price level, hit the price level again, Okay, so a lot of movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements over the last half a year or so on this on Euro NZD around this level of 160.85. Certainly, I would give a lot of merit to this level, and this might be a longer-term shorting opportunity on Euro NZD. Of course, this is an end-of-day pattern, right? So you can't trade your entire portfolio on this type of opportunity, right? You need to measure your risk because you might want to be in it for a long time. So you might want to take a very, very small position on something like this, so that you can actually hold it for a longer period of time and not have sleepless nights because you're overexposed overnight when the price is moving up and down a lot. Okay. All right. Let me talk about something else. Now, you can see a very similar pattern actually here on Euro AUD, right? So before, the one we looked at was Euro NZD. This is Euro AUD. Obviously, AUD and NZD are highly correlated currencies, and obviously then they're correlated to the Euro too. And again, here's the same opportunity on Euro AUD, end of day. Again, quite an interesting opportunity. A lot of times this price has hit this level, okay, once, oh, oopsie, I went off that. Let me find that again. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, potentially 6 times on this level of 145.85. You know, this is certainly a very, very interesting level to look at. Again, this is an end-of-day pattern, so you might want to take a smaller position on this type of pattern. Okay, so the thing about this our favorites opportunities screen is the fact that you can't filter based on anything other than probability. Okay, so we don't have the ability to filter out on, you know, on different instruments or different types of patterns or anything like that. You're purely looking at probabilities only. The rest of the job is yours to do manually, right? But that's not a big job because it does the most important thing for you, which is filter out from what did we have before we said in the trading opportunities, over 60 trading opportunities, and now we're actually down to 10 trading opportunities as we have them right now. And now this, interesting enough, is this, our favorite section is applicable to any markets that you're looking at, okay, whether they're Forex or you might be looking at, for example, the US equity market, right? Here's opportunities over 60%, over 65%, there's 23 of them, and then there's nothing over 70%, okay? But certainly over 65%, there's 23 potential moves. Now, sure, there are very short-term movements that we're forecasting, right? But certainly have a look at them, right? Whittle down from, you know, a few thousand instruments on the U.S. markets. This brings it down all the way down to, you know, just over 20 potential trading opportunities. Certainly, our favorite section offers a lot of computational power to try reduce the number of opportunities that you're actually looking at any point in time. Okay, I hope I've kind of reached the end of what I wanted to talk about today. Let me take a few questions. Okay, Dale asks, can we filter out the Forex pairs we don't like so that they don't even show up as an opportunity? Sure. So Dale, if you actually go into the trading opportunity section, you can actually create your own search criteria, right? So if you want to search just for opportunities on Euro USD, you would click on New Search, and you can type in a symbol, for example, Euro USD, and you look for that, and let's just say we want USD JPY, and we search for those two. And now we can call it something, my search. We click on Create Search, and Autochartist will retrieve the only the available opportunities on Euro USD and USD JPY. Okay, so So that's the way to do that. However, you know, keep in mind that that filter won't go through to the Our Favorite section. It'll just be in the Trading Opportunities section. So certainly you can actually do that. I'll give you guys another hint. The way I look at things is if I click on the Advanced Search Criteria, I actually personally only look at what I call horizontal patterns. Horizontal patterns are the ones with horizontal lines, the ascending, descending triangles, the rectangles, inverse head and shoulders, triple tops, triple bottoms, double tops, double bottoms, because I found that those have the best statistics. And so I actually filter things out with that as well, and that actually reduces the number of opportunities even more for me. So right now, all the USD JPY opportunities have actually disappeared. But if you're looking at certainly reducing the amount of opportunities, that's the way to do it. In fact, if you look at the performance statistics, you'll actually notice that the patterns based on horizontal levels really are good. Ascending triangle, descending triangle, double bottom, double top, head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, rectangles, triple tops. So they are really, really powerful patterns, the horizontal patterns. Anyway, that's just to give you an idea of what you can do on that search screen. Okay, there's one or two questions coming up. Okay, Samir said that he has done the same settings on Autochartist as I have, but he gets different results. Samir, you are getting different results because each of our broker partners that provides Autochartist uses a different data feed. Okay, so we use to analyze the data from your broker. We use that broker's data, and so in every broker you will see slightly different results. That is actually to be expected. Okay, we are using a demo version. I'm presenting here using a demo version of Autochartist, which uses our own multi-bank feed, and so we would get slightly different results. So I hope I pronounced this name correctly. Abhinav is asking, is the original Autochartist platform is different from what brokers provide? No, Abhinav, this is the same platform that all the brokers provide. However, you might be getting Autochartist through a different front end. So for example, you might be getting it through MT4, or you might be getting it through Act Trader or Tradable, or you know, there's lots of different platforms in which we're integrated into, and so you know, you might have a slightly different view, but the information is pretty much the same. Okay, so Carl asked a good question. When you're looking at the scanner in Auto Scanner, how do you go from there to the website? I'm presuming you're talking about the MT4 scanner. So Carl, let me show you this. Give me one moment and I will show you an example. Give me one moment. I'm just going to pause my screen. I'm just pausing my screen so I can bring up an example MT4 platform for everybody, so I can show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me share my screen again. Just want to bring everything up. I don't want to show you my entire messy desktop, so bear with me for just a moment, everyone, while I bring that up. Okay, so okay, in just a moment you all should see my MT4 platform. Now, if you see there's a little world icon. If you click on that little world icon, will actually give you a pop-up. All you do is you go to app.autochartist.com and you put in this little PIN number that we give you, and that will bring up the web application that I was just showing you now. So this little world icon gives you this PIN number. If you go to app.autochartist.com, you'll put in this PIN number, and we'll launch the application for you, the web application. You never have to do this ever again. From then on, you can always just go to app.autochartist.com and just launch Autochartist from the web application. You don't always have to go into MetaTrader to get your one-time PIN. Okay. So I'm looking at some more questions here. Okay. So Ahmed asks how he can set an alert to email him when there's an event for over 70%. So Ahmed, actually, we don't support email alerts because too many come through, and then people get irritated with the emails. You can download our Autochartist mobile application. Let me show you what that looks like. And I'll show you that on my screen. Give me one moment while I bring that up for you. It's available for Android and for Apple iOS. So you can download that. Let me find that for you. Here it is. I'm going to show you what that looks like over here. Okay, so there it is. Here is the Autochartist mobile application. If you want to download that, and then that will actually send you a push notification for events with over 70%. The phone will beep at you to let you know there's a new trading opportunity. Tafara asks when we're going to have JSC alerts in the mobile application. Tafara, right now we don't have many users in South Africa and are not planning to put the Johannesburg Stock Exchange on the mobile platform at this moment in time. Adil asks, updated Autochartist is different from the previous one. Last one automatically opens the opportunities page, whereas we have to open it manually by copy-paste. You can shed some light on this. Adil, I actually do not have the answer to your question. If you don't mind sending us an email to support@autochartist.com with a screenshot, and then we can look into that. But I don't really know the answer to that question. So Zaman asks about the volatility analysis. So let me just see if there's any more questions first, Zaman, before we go into that. Okay. Okay, Mike asks, do we have plans to offer Autochartist for binary services? So Autochartist is actually available for binary services. It's integrated into the major binary options platforms. If your broker doesn't provide Autochartist for binary options, please ask them. But certainly there's hundreds of brokers, binary brokers that offer Autochartist for binary options, short-term binary options. So yes, it does exist. So we're kind of out of time, but no, sorry, Mike, no, you can't get it from your direct account. That is not available through a direct account, only through a broker. So let me go back to my Autochartist screen that I had before. I'm just going to reshare my screen that I wanted to, so that it's more clear. Okay, Zaman asked about the volatility analysis section. It's not really, doesn't really have much to do with what we're talking about today, but I'll say 2 words about it because it is very important. So the volatility analysis tries to provide you an indication of where to set your stop loss and take profit. Okay, so if you're trading America Chicago like I am, right? you will notice that the most volatility on euro dollar, this is what I've got up on my screen right now, happens between 2 a.m. To let's say 10 a.m. Chicago time, all right? With the most volatility happening at 7 a.m. Guess when that is, right? The open of New York, okay? But certainly the European session is when the majority of the volatility happens. Now, if you notice during that time, we can expect an average of somewhere between 20 pips and 45 pips in movement every hour of day, right? So you can't trade with a 10 pip stop loss during the European session on euro dollar, because you're actually going to get knocked out of the market really quickly. Okay, so if you're planning to open a position on euro dollar at the open of New York, right, which is this candle over here, you know, you can't use a 10 pip or 20 pip or 30 pip stop loss. You've got to use a 40 pip or a 45 pip stop loss. Okay, so others are going to get knocked out of the market. Okay, so this volatility analysis tool gives you an indication. Actually, I'm just going to scroll up a bit of what the expected price range movement is for every instrument for the next 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours, and 24 hours. Okay, so if I'm trading right now Euro USD Thursday 9:30 a.m. Central Time, I'm America, Chicago. For the next 1 hour, I expect the price to be between 112.43 and 112.89. Right? For the next 4 hours, between 112.27 and 113.05. Okay, so if I don't want to hold my position for any shorter than 4 hours, I shouldn't be setting my stop loss or take profit anywhere within that region. Okay, let me show you what that looks like on MetaTrader. On MetaTrader, let me close this window. On MetaTrader, you will see these lines over here on the right-hand side. I'm just going to draw some things. So for the next hour, I'm expecting the price to be within that price range. For the next 4 hours, within that price range. And for the next day, within that price range. Okay, for the next 24 hours, right? So that's just to give you an idea of where we can expect the volatility. Certainly, if I was taking a long or short position, I'd be looking at this level over here, this 4 hour level, because this correlates quite nicely to a previous resistance that it hit. And then, you know, I might be looking at this level over here, where we saw some consolidation and some support previously in the past. So certainly, I would say that the 4 hour volatility is very significant right now on the US dollar Japanese yen from my visual inspection. Okay, and with that, I want to end the presentation. I hope you all have enjoyed watching today's presentation and have learned a little bit about our favorites section in Autochartist. If you have any technical difficulties, please go ahead and send us an email, support@autochartist.com. Thank you very much for your attention. The recording will be posted tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.